Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect, episode 350. It is December 6th, 2020. I'm David Lotz. Joining me as always is Bobby Jackson.
Hey everybody, happy 350.
Yasha Wilson.
Hey.
And Michelle Hillard.
Hey, 350. What?
Sorry, I delayed. I'm used to Yasha when you go, hey, everybody. And then I'm like, wait, is he just giving a nice long delay there? Or...
I know. I was thrown off. I was kind of thrown off too.
I didn't realize it until like afterwards. Like shit, I usually say more, and I just said hey this time. And
so that's why I waited a little bit. I'm like, maybe he's doing a nice drawn out intro this time. That's cool.
Wait, let's try it again. I'll do it this time.
And Yasha Wilson.
Hey, everybody.
It's been so long he's forgotten his sign on.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, we are. Our appearances have been a little off the past couple weeks.
It happens each year. The holidays creep up on us, and I think all of us wind up stretching ourselves a little thin in our personal lives. And then by the time the end of the week comes and we're ready to sit down, we all just go, wow, I'm either already doing something or wow, I just need a night off.
Yeah. But yeah, on that subject, like we were just talking about it before the show, like I got to start writing. As soon as I watch stuff now, I have to like write it down on an app on my phone or something because for the life of me, it's been 2 weeks since we did a show and I'm sitting here going,
and that's 2 weeks since you've done a show. I haven't done a show in like a month.
Right. But, and I'm like, I know I watched some things I wanted to talk about on here, and there's only one movie that's coming to mind. I know there was more than that, other than the obvious, like The Mandalorian. But I mean, we don't get into detail on that. But
yeah,
man, there was something. I'm frustrated.
There was.
I would try
I
to
can't think of it.
I would really try to help you, but every time you come back with some movies, it's like stuff I've never even heard of. So it can be so many different things that you watch that I would have no clue as to be able to say, oh, it's probably this.
It was probably something totally random too.
Yeah, you don't always watch the mainstream big thing.
No, we don't always watch the mainstream big thing. But I feel like the last few weeks, we've had a few Christmas things come in because David's kids really want to watch Christmas movies. So we've been watching quite a few of those already. But I will say it was kind of fun over Thanksgiving. My parents were visiting, and my parents, my mom especially, enjoys Tarantino films, but she's not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So we watched that with my parents.
Neither is Joshua.
Yeah, no, well, we all know that. But
this is very true. Very, very true.
But so we watched
Bobby coming with the body blows.
it's funny. So we watched it with my parents, and they really liked it a lot. Actually, they got a huge kick out of it, and especially the way Tarantino wraps up that film. No, they really enjoyed it a lot, actually. But it's funny. I think somehow we brought up the fact that Yasha hadn't seen it, and my mom was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "I know." So it was that's fresh in my mind. And again, watching that movie. How many times have we watched that movie now? And I still really enjoy the shit out of that movie. That film is excellent.
Yeah.
Did you actually tell them that I walked out too?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Did we? I don't remember.
No, we didn't tell them that.
No, I don't think we said that. No. Yeah, no. I'm sitting there watching it going, God damn, this movie's good.
So not to get too deep into like tech stuff, but like when we watched it, that's actually the first time since I bought the LG OLED that I have that I've used the filmmaker mode on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which you would think, knowing me, man, I would use the shit out of that mode. But I find it so dark. Like
it was darker.
It is very I've discovered, I think if you're going to use filmmaker mode on that TV, it's because you're watching a movie at night with like pretty much all the lights off.
Yeah.
Yes. Like you were in a movie theater is basically what that mode is for. Because with all the lights off at night, then it's to a point I'm like, okay, then I guess this is fine. But otherwise, it's for the mode that is supposed to be like this is as the filmmaker intended, which I am all for that. It is like any other situation. If you're going to try to use it, you're going to probably be like, it could be brighter. Like,
Well, it's funny because when we put Emma on, the latest incarnation of Emma, and you put it in filmmaker mode for a few minutes, and it didn't look. There's something about it that both you and I were like, I don't know if I want to see it like this. It looked weird. I remember you and I commenting on it.
yeah, and then I will say we watched it in a mode that, in one respect, it looked fantastic, but I do think we watched it in a mode where the color was not right.
Yes.
Because I have seen like production still images, like stuff from the movie where I'm like, yeah, that's not the color I exactly saw it in.
Anyways, no, it's just interesting. The modes with the HD TV, with the 4K TV, and what you can do with film now. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, so that's the one movie I was thinking about. But yeah, I feel like I've seen things, but now I can't really remember what I've seen. But also, I would say, like, I feel like I finally caught up on stuff that's way past its prime on me watching things. Like, there's things that I'm like, you guys are gonna be like, you just finished that? I'm like, yeah, I just finished that.
So I have, speaking of that,
You can't say give anybody grief about just finishing anything.
wait, me? Was that
Either one of you.
Well,
Anyways,
I was
sorry,
going
go
to
ahead.
ask, and no, I'm never giving anybody on here grief about finishing anything or are you caught up. With that said, I was just curious, Yasha. Like, I feel like every time when we go to do the show, you are always saying you haven't watched the most recent Mandalorian yet. Like, when do you normally watch it?
Man, it's actually hard to say. Like, I mean, it really just comes down to a time thing for me. I'm enjoying the show, but for whatever reason, I'm not like I was the first season. I was like, oh my God, I have to see what happens next. And it's just like, I'm more like, I'm kind of interested to see what happens next, like with this series. So it's there, but it's not super pressing to me, which kind of bothers me in the sense that it's like, it's out. Like I even saw and got the alerts that it's now available. And that was Thursday. And I was like, oh, cool, I can watch it. And I just never got around to it. I'm just like, oh,
so you feel like
you're not making the effort to set aside time to watch it as soon as it comes out. You're not like that excited.
Yeah.
But it sounds like
that's pretty much what it is.
It sounds like you felt that way in the first season and you don't feel that way in the second season.
Yeah, the first season I felt like I was like, okay, it's Friday. Like, this is my routine. I'm going to watch this show because I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm interested in this one, but the sense of urgency just hasn't really gotten to me just yet. I felt it last week because I was really excited to see with the character that Rosario Dawson was playing. I don't want to say the name because I know I would butcher it. I was really excited to see what she was going to do. And I loved, I can't emphasize enough how much I really thoroughly loved the last episode with her and, meeting and Grogu and finally getting a name for the child and everything like that. But now I'm just kind of like, all right, well, I'm interested to see what happens, but I don't know. I didn't stop everything to kind of watch it. Like every time that I was like, oh, I should do it, I should watch it. It's like, oh, I actually should probably do this, or I have to actually end up doing some work, or, whatever the case may be. So it's kind of a bummer though.
I was just curious. Again, I wasn't like bringing it up, like giving you shit
I know,
for
I'm
not
just
keeping
giving you
up.
shit.
No, I know. No, I was just curious. But I guess it does surprise me that you don't seem as engaged with it this season, because I know for me, I mean, and I loved the first season, but this season for me, I'm even more so like, oh my God, I have to see the next episode like right now.
Oh no, you were gonna set your alarm, and I think sadly you forgot. You
I
were
did,
gonna
I
get
forgot.
up wicked early Friday morning to watch it.
Yeah, because I went camping with the kids this weekend, and I knew like, oh, I need to watch it because I was gonna work for a little bit on Friday before we left. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to get up even earlier and watch it. And this was going to be the first time that you and I weren't going to watch it together. And I was like, all right, by the way, I'm getting up early. And then I forgot to set the alarm. I got up for my normal time to get up for work. And I'm like, oh, damn it, I forgot.
I know. I actually leaned over and was like, hey, you're going to watch Mandalorian, right? You're going to go do that now?
But long story short, luckily I ended up having time to watch it before we left to go camping. So I did watch it before you did, but yeah, I knew I had to watch it ASAP.
I watched it Friday night.
And then the next, 2 episodes or 3? 2? Do we have 2 left?
There's 2 more.
2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be tough for me to not watch them like first thing in the morning. Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, I find myself anxious to watch it, if for no other reason than the fact that since everyone kind of has their social media app of choice, and mine tends to be Twitter. And excuse me, I've noticed that a lot of times, if you're not watching it within the first few hours, there's already going to be like articles from Variety that show a screenshot of what the episode was about. That's a spoiler. There's people on Twitter already talking about it in a spoiler way. So I know I have to be on top of it just for that reason alone, because I look through Twitter a decent amount. So I know that I would easily get spoiled. And I think that alone would be a reason for me to really watch it when it comes out. But that aside, I just find myself excited to see the next episode. And so I would say out of the 8 episodes, well, let's see, we've gotten 6 episodes. I'd say, I want to say at least half, if not maybe more than half, I've waited up till midnight to watch and gone to bed afterwards.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not even waking up early. I think I've woken up early for maybe 2 episodes to watch, and then the rest I think I've been staying up till midnight. So yeah, I'm all in on this season. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Just to see, as a person who's been really into Star Wars since it came back in the fold in a way with I guess what's the new canon, and since Disney has bought it and they've established new canon with books and animated shows and obviously the movies, that I've been on top of those things and really waiting to see all those aspects come together. And it seems to be doing that now within this show. So it's been super rewarding for me as someone who's been on top of those things. And so for me, it's like Christmas morning every time a new episode is like, what kind of treats am I going to get this week? And so, yeah, I'm super excited about it, and almost going to be a little bit sad once it ends, just because it's going to be that long cycle of wait before we get another season.
Yeah, and I feel like, first I agree with you, because once the season's over, it's like, oh man, like the wait for another one. And then I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, the next, I think, show kind of in this vein, like not Star Wars, but kind of geek fandom kind of stuff, like, is probably WandaVision is really next, right? And that's in January.
Yeah, that's supposed to be in January. Yeah.
January 15th.
Yeah, that's WandaVision that's supposed to be coming. It's right
at least
around the
that's
corner.
not too far off. Something else.
Right.
Get excited
Yeah.
about.
It's good that I feel like now they've finally gotten to the point where they've got the ball rolling, and we can start to see, like, when one big thing ends, another one starts, and sort of the HBO model, what they would do with their Sunday shows. And
Yeah,
you'd have
they're
a
like
big
getting their
show on, and
pacing
then
down.
again, something new.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is good. We're starting to get into it now.
Yeah, I will say it's funny. I'm enjoying this season, and I don't think I like it any more or any less than last season. I think I do have one thing with this season that kind of throws me, is I feel that Mando talks a lot more in this season. And in a way, like, that kind of bugs me. I kind of like him being like the strong, silent hero type, and he seems to be a lot more chatty.
Okay.
I know, that's so weird, right? But yeah, it kind of throws me a little bit. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just, it kind of, I don't know.
And I guess I don't really have a response because I don't want to talk too much about the show. Yasha, you're not caught up, and plus we don't want to talk about spoilers, so it's like.
But not even just like in one episode. I feel like overall this season he's talking a lot more.
No, I get what you're saying. I feel like I can't really say much to that because without us going into a whole Mandalorian conversation.
Right. This last episode was good. I liked it. It was engaging.
No, I guess for me, the first season, as much as I liked it, it had 1 or 2 episodes, maybe one in particular, but maybe a couple episodes that I was kind of meh. This season, I don't have that problem at all. this season, everything has been pretty damn solid for me.
Right.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I feel the same way. Like this season, I'm enjoying every episode, like I really am. But I'm just like, I don't know, I just don't have that sense of urgency to really get to the next episode.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I know that we're not going to get any resolution anytime soon, or anything to that nature with his storyline. It feels like it's just kind of really drawn out. Like I really enjoy shows that at least there's a leaning towards, something or some common goal that you can feel that there's an end game when it comes to it, or at least some sort of closure. And this is not that. Like, it's a perpetual string of just longevity without really having type of resolution. Like, I was kind of excited, but at the same time bummed with the last episode where we get the child's name and everything like that. I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder what's going to happen now. And then they just kind of string that along even more. And I'm like, oh, that kind of bums me out because I was really hoping to like another adventure type of thing. But then, it's like, and I think about it, it's like, they're not going to get rid of the child. Like, he's never going to probably not be without it.
So you mean like moving on from the child to another thing is kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of like, some sort of like direction, like that the movie or the show is going. And it's like, it's I mean, I just feel like it's just a perpetual him and the child basically going on adventures. And it's like, I mean, it reminds me of this meme that I saw when the show first started. It's like, why don't they just stop calling it The Mandalorian and calling what it really is, the Baby Yoda show? Because nobody cares about what happens to him. They just want to know what happens to the Baby Yoda. And to some effect, I really feel like that's true, because it's like, I want to see what happens to the child. And I was like, oh man, this is awesome. They're reintroducing the Jedi and they have this, this whole direction and everything like that. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into spoilers. I guess maybe if it's a week old, maybe I shouldn't say anything, but it's like that moment came and left when it came to like with that. You know what I mean? Like, does that feeling like we're going to get something really different and really kind of taking a direction that left very, very quickly, and it kind of bummed me out.
I don't know. I guess we're different in that you were talking like I didn't understand that you're saying moving on like to a completely new kind of story arc away from the child, but because I could see it being the other way around. I could see that this being a show where we're still doing these kind of random one-off episodes, which I feel like in this season we haven't so much had. I feel like everything has really kind of fit the arc of what he's trying to accomplish with the child, and I think we could be in a position where we haven't even moved on as much as we have easily, where we're just doing these random single adventure episodes that are like completely standalone, and I don't think we've gotten that so much this season. So I guess in a way I'm actually somewhat surprised we're moving along as much as we are, but I see what you're saying. So I think it's just, I don't know, maybe two different perspectives, but overall,
I feel as though,
oh, go ahead, Bobby.
I was just going to say, I feel as though that there's some sort of middle ground there that will happen where ultimately anything that's has to do with Grogu will be settled, but he'll still be part of the show. Because there's obviously the aspect of the Empire being after him. I feel like that may get settled at some point, but then how that gets settled, he will still be with the Mandalorian, and he'll just be one of those characters that's part of the show. I don't think that is going away in that sense.
I would agree.
I think
I agree with
his
that.
storyline will get resolved.
Right.
Yeah. And then they'll move on to some other adventure with some other aspect being the main driving force.
Yeah, I could see that easily. But anyway, other than that, there's only like one movie I could think of I'd watch, and I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff. But
well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that movie you saw.
Well, we saw Happiest Season, right?
Yeah, Happiest Season on Hulu.
Hulu with
Kristen Stewart
and Mackenzie. Is that it? Mackenzie? Am I getting her name wrong?
Davis? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, new holiday movie that's on Hulu. I forget the director's name. I had it, but I don't have it up in front of me right now. For those who don't know, I mean, you see it in the trailer. Basically, she's in a relationship. Kristen Stewart's character is in a relationship with Mackenzie. Was it Davis? And they are going to go to one of their family's house for Christmas, but the family doesn't know she is in a lesbian relationship, and they're having to hide it, basically. And I'll say, like, it was unbelievably predictable. The movie was exactly what I expected. I mean, with that said, I mean, if you're looking for a holiday movie to watch that's something different, I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy it. It was entertaining for what it is the best way I can put that. But it's nothing new other than, I don't know. It's just, if you've seen the trailer for this, it's exactly what you think is going to
exactly what you expect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like this movie is exactly what you think it will be.
Yeah. No, I think it was cute. I enjoyed it. Like, I think for me, my issues, like, I'll put it this way. If I had to choose between this or some crap that Hallmark put out, this would win hands down.
I don't deny that, but I would never watch a Hallmark movie.
But let's just say they were like, hey, for the next 12 hours, you can watch a different film after each film, and it has to be a Hallmark Christmas movie, or you can just watch this one movie, Happiest Christmas, over and over for 12 hours. I would still pick Happiest Season,
yeah,
for 12 hours straight than to watch a different Hallmark movie for 12 hours.
Well, I will say that's not saying much.
But, right. Well, just saying, I enjoyed this. I thought this was at least cute. Predictable as hell, but I thought it was cute. I think actually my issue with this was that, like, it's almost frustrating that we're still at a time in our society where we have to focus on the coming out story of LGBTQ community for, like, that to kind of be the main focus all the time still in film. Like, it can't just be let's go meet the parents for the first time. Although I will say what's interesting about this, what's kind of funny is, like, the weird, like, everybody goes to meet the parents for the first time, right? Or everybody goes to meet the parents for a holiday for the first time. Like, they've met the parents, but they haven't spent a holiday with them. And you realize that your spouse's parents are sweet people, but they have some weird quirks. And I feel like watching this, like, you see that, like, Kristen Stewart's having to realize the weird quirky things that, like, her spouse's parents do or say. And some of it's a little cringy, but it's just like, yeah, it's always kind of weird that first holiday you spend with the significant other's parents, I think. It's always a little unique. Nothing bad, just, like, weird stuff that you kind of are like, oh yeah, I'm getting to know these people, they're getting to know me. Everybody grows up in a different household, things are, I don't know. It's always, so that was nice to see, like, that aspect of it. But to have the coming out of the closet situation to be the forefront is a little bit disappointing to me, that it couldn't be more of an original story. I feel like we still always tend to focus on the coming out story when it comes to the LGBTQ community in a lot of our films, unfortunately, still. But having said that, though, there's actually this really great moment in the film between Kristen Stewart and, God, what's his name? I can't think of his name now. Shoot.
Daniel Levy?
Yes. And it's this great moment because it is about coming out, unfortunately, but it literally is this great moment where he's just like, everybody's coming out story is different. And he really kind of, the way they wrote what he said, I was like, well, that was done really well, actually.
Well, and I was actually going to say something about that scene because I like that scene in particular because I feel like it somewhat saves the movie.
It did.
From being, I mean, because the situation that we run into in this movie, without, again, I guess, getting into spoilers, if there really are spoilers for this movie. Without that scene, I feel like our reaction could be, well, that's great and all. Maybe that happens for some people, but this isn't realistic for a lot of people. And at least that scene,
he brought it up.
That scene at least kind of says, yes, Like this is not the case for a lot of people.
Right. Exactly.
At least the movie acknowledges that.
Exactly. No, I was happy that they had that moment in the film. I thought that was really good. And I think it really kind of brings in the fact that everybody's coming out is done and received completely different from any other person's coming out is done or received. So on that side, that was really good. It was cute. I would actually watch it again. I enjoyed it. That's a good one for like wrapping presents too. It's a good one you throw on. You're not really watching it. You're kind of watching it, sort of, kind of paying attention, but not really wrapping Christmas presents and doing things. And that's what I would watch it again for.
Yeah. And I don't mean to sound like I really disliked it. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I could see putting it on again under the right circumstances, I guess. But
it was cute.
It'd be one of those movies that if I had seen this in a theater, that I'd have been like, yeah, don't go see this. Don't buy a ticket to this.
Right.
Now you have a subscription to Hulu, or if this were Netflix or some other streaming service.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, fine. It's worth checking out, I guess.
Which brings me to another holiday movie that came out on Disney Plus that I actually kind of want to see.
Well, first, I mean, did nobody else saw this, or right? Or...
No,
I was going to watch it. I was interested.
Oh, sorry. Well, Yasha, what'd you say first?
No, I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt, Bobby, but I know the movie. I'm really excited to watch it. I really wanted to watch it. It looks good. And it, doesn't look like anything too crazy, but I'm interested in watching it.
You should see it. It's cute. Like I said, it's not one thing you have to give full 100% attention to, but you can watch it and kind of do something else at the same time.
And then what did you say, Bobby? Sorry.
I was just going to say, I looked on IMDb and the director's name is Clea Duvall. She also wrote it.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I'm wondering if that's some sort of a personal story. I don't know. I'm not familiar with her.
Maybe. I'm not. I mean, I'm familiar with her as an actress, but not as I don't think she has a huge directing resume. No, but
it was cute.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that film for what that film was.
I get that. I agree.
No, yeah.
You were going to say something.
No, I was going to say there's a movie that just dropped on Disney Plus that I kind of want to see. And it looks insanely predictable, but kind of cutesy. And I think I'm just maybe itching for new movies. Maybe that's my problem. And I'm like open to whatever. And
it is.
It's, Godmothered.
Oh, okay.
I admit it looks kind of silly and stupid, but I kind of want to see it.
That's cool.
I'm like, I'll watch Godmothered. That one, I don't know. It's the actress I think that's playing the person who's trying to be a godmother. What's her name? June Squibb or
Bell?
Jillian Bell? What is her name? Jillian Bell. She was the one that was in that Run movie that you and I liked. Yeah. Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the name of that is now.
And she was in 22 Jump Street, I believe. She's been in other stuff, but she's very she has a quick wit about her and a really cool comedy style that I enjoy watching her on screen.
Agreed. I like her comedy style. She was actually in that Christmas movie that you and I were talking about, where the three guys go out on Christmas Eve. That's their last one.
The night
she
before.
plays the wife of Seth Green, and she's like, swallow it like a girl while they're in church. Yeah. Oh God, I love that. That's like the best scene. I love that scene. No, yeah, I like Jillian Bell. I like her humor, so I think it can be kind of cute. And then Isla Fisher's in it. She plays the person, I guess, opposite her, like the person that she's trying to be a godmother to. So I'm like, this could be really cute. This could be a cutesy little watch. I'm open to it. Anyways, they're just random throwing that out into the void.
I haven't seen a trailer or anything for it. I just saw it pop up in the app. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
looks cute.
Since we're talking about Christmas movies, I actually watched one that's fairly new, and I mentioned it the last time we recorded that I was interested in seeing it, and it's called Jingle Jangle.
Oh, yes!
That's it!
We watched that on Thanksgiving! That's what it was! Yes!
Oh my God.
That's what we watched!
Well, do tell. Now I'm curious.
No, you started
you
it.
first.
Go
You
ahead.
start. You take it away.
Well, it's delightful. It's fun. I thought it was kind of a cool little thing because honestly, there's not a lot of that I can think of African American focused holiday movies like this, and that's for younger kids. And so I think that it was really good. It has a musical element to it as well that I thought was fun, and the story in and of itself I found compelling because it starts off in this way that it feels very much like something that you think is going to go in a typical sort of fashion, and overall, you can kind of predict, but it's just not an altogether happy story in the way that something happens at the beginning to the main character, and then it takes place years later, and it's Forrest Whitaker is playing that character as an older man, and it's an interesting thing, but what I really enjoyed is I don't know the girl's name, the young girl who plays his granddaughter, but she's just absolutely delightful. Like every time she's on screen and smiling and stuff, she's just like so adorable. And I just really enjoyed it as a movie, and just thought it's probably a nice little Christmas movie for the family if you have something and you want to watch and it's something new that's out there instead of the same stories that you've seen 1,000 times. I think it was totally a good story for the family, and it's always nice seeing Felicia Rashad and things as well.
Darn tootin'.
If you remember her from the Cosby Show. So that's my quick take on it. But what you guys think?
So, yeah, we watched that over Thanksgiving. We started on Thanksgiving evening, and then it got a little late, and then we wound up breaking it up and watching it the second half of it later in the weekend.
Right.
Kids got to go to sleep at some point. No, I have to agree. I think it was unique because I feel like you said, as far as like children's Christmas films, there's not enough that I think is, I will say, African American centric. Thank you. I guess that's the best way I could put it. So no, it was nice. It was refreshing. I thought it was really cute. I even like kind of the way they did it. Just, the breaking it up between the live action, like kind of like the little art sequences they had, kind of segued into next kind of chapters, I guess, of the film. I thought it was pretty cool. And yeah, so you're talking about the granddaughter, Journey, was played by Madeline Mills, and she was stinking adorable. So cute. You could not take your eyes off of her. And like she gets her own little song that she does in the movie. Oh, just so cute. What a good little chick. I love that. No, it was a good one. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's like great, but it was enjoyable. And like to see Felicia Rashad, I was like, yes. By the way, she's one of my favorite people that does candlelight processional at Epcot. She's really good at it. I love it when she does candlelight.
And I haven't been a candlelight at Epcot. And obviously this year, forget it. But
well, yeah, that's not happening this year. But there's a couple readers that like I'll try to go out of my way to go hear them do candlelight processional, and Felicia Rashad's one of them.
I could see that. She's
really good at candlelight. I really like her a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, just random side note. Just really good at it. But no, like Anika Noni Rose is in it. There's a lot of people. Ricky Martin does the voice of Don Juan Diego. Let's see. Yeah, Keegan Michael Key. Hugh Bonneville's in it for just a few little scenes. But yeah, no, I feel like Forrest Whitaker sometimes is hit or miss, but I thought he was really good in this role, actually. I liked him. It was fun. It was heartwarming.
Visually, it looks really good as well.
Yeah.
The colors pop off of the screen. The
costuming is spectacular.
Everything about it just was really well done, I thought.
It really was. I liked it. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I liked it too. It's got kind of a Christmas kind of steampunk vibe to it.
Yeah. A little bit steampunk.
There's one thing I started to think about though as I watched it. And it's not so much a negative, just kind of an observation. It was like the style of the music. It made me feel like this was just kind of not. I don't mean to put it that way because this is a good movie. I definitely agree with you guys, but the style of the music, it felt a little bit like, hey, let's make a movie like this, but kind of following in the stylized kind of vein of like Greatest Showman, because the music was very similar.
It was very Greatest Showman music, like, yes, I agree.
But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean,
No.
the music in Greatest Showman's good. I don't know, just an observation. But
No, I was thinking that. I was wondering if it was the same musicians maybe that kind of worked on that. I haven't looked into that.
I
I'm
haven't
just
looked into it. I don't think so. But
I was just kind of curious. I was thinking that every time a song would come on, I was like, this is very Greatest Showman-y. Especially like the first one. I was like,
yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
But a new holiday movie to kind of make more of a tradition to watch every year. I could definitely see watching this.
I could see watching this.
I would definitely watch this over Happiest Season. I think for sure.
Yes. Well, Happy Season's an adult Christmas movie.
Yeah, they're not really, just because they're both, I mean it in the sense that they're both Christmas movies. Beyond that, they are not at all the same kind of movie in any way, shape, or form. But,
and actually we watched, this year we watched Noel, which came out last year. I remember we watched it last year on Disney.
Yeah, we put it on with the kids.
We put it on tonight. I still think that was cute. I still enjoyed it actually on this watching too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's cute. Yeah, I'm
For
down
those
with
who
it.
don't know, I mean, the Disney Plus movie with Anna Kendrick and
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember enjoying it last year, and even tonight watching it for a second, I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I could see this coming in every now and then, every other Christmas. I'm down with it.
Right.
I'm cool with it. Cool with it being in filling it in. You got to integrate new Christmas movies. You got to keep it fresh. Just saying. And Hallmark ones are not the ones you should integrate in.
Man, you're very like the Hallmark
They're
thing is a
so
thing.
ridiculous. Have you seen the meme with the pictures? Oh my god!
See,
this just justifies why I don't like the films, because Hallmark is putting together this picture.
I bring it up and ask you about it because like you keep bringing it up. To me, I don't even think about Hallmark movies. Like that's just a whole other thing. It's like, I don't know. It's just not on my radar.
Well, especially their holiday ones. Oh my god. Anyways. I'm finding this meme and I'm sending it to all of you. You guys will find out. Anywho.
Anyway, thanks, Bobby, for helping
for
me
reminding
remember.
us what movies what things we watched.
No problem.
What else did we watch?
So
we're behind on the crown.
Okay.
Oh no, Bobby was gonna.
Bobby's seen stuff. Hey, Bobby always sees stuff.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I
What were you
mean,
gonna say?
I try to. Yeah, another movie I
it
got a chance to. I got a chance to see. It was on Hulu, and I'd heard a little bit of buzz about it. In fact, I think prior to Happiest Season coming out, it was billed as being the biggest movie on Hulu's debut or something, called Run. It has Sarah Paulson in it, and a young actress that I'm not familiar with. I don't know if she's been in anything else, but her name's Kira Allen, and she plays the daughter of the character Sarah Paulson plays. And the quick sort of synopsis of it is that the Sarah Paulson is the mother to this young girl who's wheelchair bound and has a lot of issues, but she's about to graduate from high school and is ready to go off to college. But her mom has issues with letting her go, and that she feels that, you know, maybe it's not her time to go yet because she is so protective of her, and it goes from there. It's something of a thrill ride because there's a lot to it that goes into this mom and daughter relationship that on the surface is pretty good, but then you start to dig a little bit deeper, and there's other things that come about. And I just thought that the lengths and the aspects of what they go to and go through made it entertaining. Not altogether all the time plausible, but definitely entertaining. A few eye roll moments, and the ending is actually where, even though I saw this movie probably a couple weeks ago, I still am not sure where I land on the ending, the very end. Most of me feels like I'm not altogether for the ending, the way it ended. But I could see what they were going for, but I don't know that I am on board with the way it ended very much. But
interesting.
Aside from that, the rest of the movie I found to be pretty entertaining.
It seemed really interesting, and it's funny. I keep seeing I guess there are ads for it on my Instagram feed, and it keeps kind of showing one of two clips from the film, but they show it in a way that it's like the writer's thought processes on the scene. And like one looks like the girl's about to jump out a window from her room. And it's really interesting because they talk about what's happening in her head and how she's supposed to be acting at it. It's kind of like when you watch the Oscars and they go through screenplay writers and they actually like have the dialogue of the actual script while the scene is going. And that's what these advertisements are. So the movie definitely has me intrigued. Based just from those, I'm like, what the hell is happening in this film?
Another interesting aspect is that the actress in the character in the movie is in a wheelchair, but the actress playing her is actually in a wheelchair as well. So they had an actress that's actually wheelchair bound playing this character. So I thought that was another added interesting thing to the movie as well.
No, I was going to point that out. It's funny as you've been talking about it because I'd never heard of this. I'm scrolling through the images on IMDb and I'd seen that there was an image from like a red carpet kind of event. And I was like, oh, I guess she's wheelchair bound, not just playing a part. But then side note, like I'm scrolling through the images on IMDb. I've never seen so many still images pulled from a movie before. Like I feel like I'm watching the movie in like stop motion.
Yo, it kind of is like watching in stop motion.
I'm like, there's 63 images in here from this movie. Like there's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at too many.
I've looked at them all now.
I'm sure they'll spoil. Oh God. Oh, that's awful.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I would suggest it. Like I said, I would be more curious to hear how you guys felt about the way it ends, more so than anything, just because of how I felt about it. But one other thing that I did get a chance to watch, and I really wanted to make sure that I did watch it this weekend when it came out, was Mank on Netflix.
Oh, you got to watch that. I was just watching the trailer for that yesterday, and I almost watched that last night. It almost caught me. Dang it. Sorry, go ahead, Bobby.
Directed by David Fincher, starring Gary Oldman, Amanda Seyfried, Lily Collins. For anyone that doesn't know, this is the story of Herman Mankiewicz, who wrote the old classic. All of a sudden, it literally just blanked out of my head. Yes, thank you. Wow, it just literally at that moment just left my mind.
Happens to me all the time.
That Orson Welles starred in and directed as well. And this isn't so much of like how they made the movie as much as it's like what the inspiration was, and goes into a lot of that level of detail by jumping back and forth between time as Mank is, as they call him, Mank, is writing the story, and in the past of some of the events that really helped solidify him telling this story. And I gotta say, leading up to it, I think when it was debuted at something, there was a lot of good press for it. And then I think maybe within this last week, I'd been seeing other critics maybe not giving it as much of a good review. But I think when I sat there and watched it, in the first few minutes, I was a little I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I'll just put it that way. I wasn't feeling it in the first, 5-6 minutes of it.
A little
but then
put off.
At some point,
A little put off, huh?
a little bit. But then I think it was somewhere around the time when Amanda Seyfried's character comes into play, that I really got on board with it and really just connected with it and enjoyed it a lot. I really came away feeling impressed. That was the thought that I remember thinking first, is that from a visual standpoint, this movie is so well done, so well made, that I feel like you could really have take this movie and shown it to people back in 1930 or 40s, whatever, within that time frame, and they would have thought that movie was made during their time, because it looks so much like a movie of that time. And I just was impressed by that, because a lot of times you see a movie in black and white and they're doing it because it's just a color tone, and they, or the lack of, and they want that look, that distinctive look of black and white. But what David Fincher did, he didn't just make it look in black and white. It actually feels like it was made back then, and the way that the scenes are staged, and the way that the actors talk, and some of the different transitions and wipes and stuff. It really felt like you were watching a movie from back then. And of course, the acting is top notch. I mean, Gary Oldman is extremely good as Herman Mankiewicz in the movie, and Amanda Seyfried is really good as well. And I just came away just feeling super impressed by all the technical aspects that went into it, but also that I didn't know this part of the story. And so I was drawn in by that also. So I think the only negative I would say about it really is that it's a long movie. It's like 2 hours and 12 minutes or 10 minutes or somewhere around there, that I feel like you could probably have shaved some of that off. But that's maybe a minor complaint. And since you can sit here and watch it at home, it's not anything that you can't just sort of pause for a minute or whatever. But ultimately, that's such a minor thing that it's not really that bad of a thing. So in terms of story and everything else, I just thought it was really well done. And I'm kind of curious when it gets out there a little bit more and people had a little bit more time to see it, what they think about it as well, because I haven't seen any just sort of average people talking about it just yet, because it did just come out on Friday. So I will be interested to see what the average Joe thinks of this movie.
Yeah, I need to watch this, but I was camping this weekend, so I have an excuse. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, so I mean, I guess for me, the reason I didn't watch it was I wound up watching something that I didn't think, so when David went away this weekend, I stayed home because of my job. But in my free time, I decided to watch something that I didn't think David would want to watch or continue watching. Basically, it was like, oh, he's not interested in this, I'm going to watch it. And that's kind of the road I went down for the weekend, of which I'm almost done with Bly Manor now, because I was able to just watch quite a few episodes, because David has not been into Bly Manor. And I will say, after the episode I just watched this evening, which is the second to last one, you're not going to get to Bly Manor. You're not going to enjoy it.
Wow.
I'm not feeling it. It's not as good as the first haunting, the one from Hill House. It's not. It does not hit the same notes. It's not bad. It's just not as engaging. I think that's the big issue with it. And this last episode that I just watched, which is the second to last one, is it's almost like borderline, not silly, but it's like, you went that way with it, huh? Okay. I guess so. All right. Okay. Like, that's where I'm at with it. So I do just want to finish watching it so I can have the whole thing in my head and conclude the storyline. But I will say, I'm definitely not enjoying it as much as I did The Haunting of Hill House. That's why I didn't watch Mank. And now I feel like I should have watched Mank, so I'd have enjoyed it so much more. Because I like David Fincher. There's really only like one or two things that I haven't really super enjoyed from David Fincher.
Oh, now you got to tell us what.
Panic Room, not really one of my faves.
Okay.
Obviously I liked Seven. Who doesn't like Seven? That was great. And then I haven't watched Zodiac, so I cannot pass judgment on Zodiac. I like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I liked Gone Girl. But I know the one that's going to make David gasp.
Do I not know what you're about to say? Something you didn't like?
Figure out. I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't that like blown away by it.
Oh, Social Network?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Huh.
Weird. That's weird, but okay.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe the hype for Social Network might have been too high for me, maybe.
Maybe because you didn't watch it for a long time.
No, I watched it way after the fact. So I'm wondering if maybe the hype for it was more than what I got in my head. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I just watched it recently for the first time.
That's true, you did.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I mean, I can kind of maybe see where it wouldn't live up to a specific thought in your head based on how much other people have been talking about it. But no, I
Yeah.
think I enjoyed the aspect of it just because it I think I enjoy movies like that where I don't know the full story and I know bits and pieces and it puts it together for me in different ways. And the way it in that movie is contextualized by being framed by that court case in a way too. Well, not specifically the court case, but just as he's going through and giving his maybe the deposition or whatever, but going through everything and then flashing back in terms of everything else and how it all kind of comes together. I think I enjoy that as well, just the storytelling mechanism along with the story. Sort of like Steve Jobs, I guess.
Right. No, I mean, I always understand the expectation card when it comes to movies. I've easily fallen into that many times.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it. I just think I kind of ended. I watched it and I kind of went, okay, that's it. Like it just didn't. It didn't go. I didn't go. Oh man, whew, dude, that. Wow. Like I went. Oh, it was good. That's where I landed with it. I didn't think it was bad. But then it's like I think about Seven. I remember the first time I saw Seven, and it was years after Seven came out. And I remember just being like, holy, whew, that film I really enjoyed and was amazed by it. I still haven't watched Zodiac. I really should watch that one. I really enjoyed Gone Girl a lot, actually. And I even watched Girl with the Dragon Tattoo years after it came out. And I really liked Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I think that's a fabulous film. Anyways, sorry. So no, I would like to watch Mank. Long story short.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's worth watching, if for no other reason than the fact that you just pretty much went through Fincher's, all of his movies and seen pretty much all of them. So at this point, you might as well throw this in as well.
I will say for funsies, David and I are on his IMDb, and I did not realize he did that many music videos. Holy mother of God. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a long list of music videos. It's impressive.
It's funny how on IMDb they're listed as video shorts, but
they're music videos. But yeah,
right.
Like like I started scrolling down. I was like, oh my sweet goodness, and I forgot he did Alien 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I never forget that he did. But it was so early on that he did that.
I think that's his first film.
And I like Alien 3. Actually, when it comes to I'm not saying it's my favorite Alien movie by any means. I haven't watched it in
so long.
But I feel like it was one of those Alien movies that most people just kind of dismiss and don't like. And I'm not saying it's great, but I actually enjoyed it. But yeah, there's a lot of...
There's so many music videos. I had no idea he did so many music videos.
Yep.
Like, I knew he did them. I didn't realize he did so many of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, Alien 3 is the first film credit that he had. Like, film.
Right.
Like full-on film.
Yeah.
Anywho, I haven't watched much else, really. I'm behind on The Crown on the latest season.
Yasha, you haven't said anything in a while. Anything you watched? That you Yasha, you still there?
Did we lose Yasha?
Did we lose Yasha?
Is that why he's been so quiet?
He's been so
No,
quiet.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm like, did we lose him? Is that why he's been so quiet?
Yeah, you lost me, and I just decided to say, you know what? Fuck it.
These guys don't need me. I'm out.
Yeah.
I haven't watched anything. It's fine.
Sad to say, I really haven't watched anything. I haven't watched anything of anything note. Trying to remember now, but no, I don't remember writing anything down. I haven't watched The Mandalorian yet, so it's like, I mean, yeah, I wish I had something that I can say, oh yeah, I remember I watched this and add to it. I don't, but I'm here to add witty commentary. So just let me know when I can do that, or I'll chime in periodically.
Sweet. Well, then let's talk about Warner Brothers.
Oh my good gracious! I'm gonna go pour another drink for that conversation. I'm gonna need another drink.
Speaking of Yasha, witty commentary.
Whoa.
Okay, where do we
Where to
start,
begin?
please, asshole?
Where to begin?
I don't really know what to add, like, honestly. I mean, I know you're joking when you say that, but it's like, what do we really add to that when it comes to what we can say to their fuckery? Like, hey, let's release all of our movies and completely bypass all the theaters, thus basically ending an entire business all on our own. And oh, by the way, we're not going to have everybody be able to do it because you don't have a third of the streaming devices that are out there. I can't remember what the numbers were when it came to Roku on people that are in the houses of Roku, and it's a lot, man. Like that is a big platform to just basically bypass. And it's like I'm not surprised that more. I'm actually surprised that more studio or theaters haven't come out and voiced how pissed off they are. Just because they're like, oh, we're going to do half and half. It's like, so you're cutting our business in half, maybe a third of that, because not many people are going to probably feel comfortable enough to go back to the theaters. So it's like, it's just going to be there. It's going to be limited and admission anyway. So, I mean, like, I don't know what else I can say. I don't see the game plan or the end plan other than them just trying to get their products out there. And like when we were texting, and Bobby started shooting me a message with Google TV, and it's like, I'm really close to just saying fuck Roku and going to Google TV, because if they have all the shit that I watch on there, I'd rather just have that, spend the $50, completely cancel Roku, and then go that route and be able to watch the shit that I want to, instead of huddling around my phone or my computer or buying another attachment. If I'm going to go buy another attachment, I'm just going to buy another attachment and completely bypass Roku altogether. Because they already have my money, so it's like it's just frustrating.
Well, I feel like if we are going to continue talking about this, to kind of catch anyone up who's listening, what we're even referring to. And Bobby, you're probably even more versed on this than I am, so please correct anything I get wrong. But Warner Brothers, as we know, is going to release Wonder Woman 1984 this Christmas, not only in theaters, but on HBO Max for a month. Right? That's it. Just for a month.
And even then, I think it's going in theaters 5 days ahead, and then it's going on to HBO Max, right?
Is it?
I thought there were two separate dates.
That I'm not familiar
I think
with.
it's released internationally ahead of
Okay.
HBO Max.
So then that was announced, and now it was this week that they announced that they are going to release their entire 2021 film slate, not only in theaters, but on HBO Max. Every movie. That includes, and I'm just scratching the surface.
Day and date.
Right. But just scratching the surface, that includes like Matrix 4, Dune.
Dune. Oh.
Like...
Dune is huge. I couldn't
Dune's
believe that they decided
one.
to do that.
Tons of movies. Just everything.
You want me
According to
read
them.
it for you, David?
Oh, every movie? You don't have to read every movie.
No, we don't need that.
No, just
Please
some of the
no.
big ones.
Yeah, please read some of the big ones.
So you've got Godzilla versus Kong, Mortal Kombat, Space Jam: A New Legacy, In the Heights, Suicide Squad, Dune, as you mentioned, King Richard, which is the Serena and Venus story starring Will Smith, and also Matrix 4. Those are like some of the big
And
ones.
it's not like they're releasing it with like, oh, you can pay for these on their service. They're literally legit releasing it so you can just watch them, right? Just stream them right live, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like they're doing with
Yeah,
Wonder
HBO
Woman.
Max, you just watch it.
Because with Wonder Woman, they're not doing like a Mulan kind of situation where, yeah, you have to have
That's
the
what I'm
subscription plus like a $30 purchase or something. No, like it's HBO Max. You
Straight up, you just
got the
watch
movie.
it.
I did read something. I didn't dig into it. And maybe somebody knows more about this. I saw something like with Wonder Woman, you should not be able to expect to do a free trial of HBO Max and be able to watch that. I believe.
Yeah, they canceled their free. They canceled the trial. Well, I shouldn't say canceled, but they stopped doing the 7-day trial.
And
Okay.
they've paused the 7-day trial.
Right.
They want you to
Yeah,
subscribe.
anticipation.
I will have to say, like, there's only two films that really pop out to me that make me go, well, I'm still going to see it in the theater. And it's Wonder Woman 84 and Dune. For me, obviously, Wonder Woman 84 is a film that I've wanted to see since the moment I walked out of Wonder Woman in that theater in that moment. I said, well, let's get a second one going. I'm ready. Sign me up. And they didn't even have a second one announced. And I was like, there has to be a sequel. We have to watch. There has to be a second one. This is amazing. I've been so eager to see Wonder Woman 84. I cannot begin to explain. So I will go and I will wear two N95 masks, one over another, and I will sit in the back of the theater so I'm breathing downwind, but I am seeing that film in the theater. It's going to happen for me. I'm just that hellbent. And when it comes to Dune, I'm not even that interested in Dune, but this is one of my absolute favorite directors. And visually, from what I can see in the trailers, this is a film that you have to be in the theater to be fully ensconced in. Like, you have to be wrapped and enveloped in that setting, and you have to do it in a theater. And I think that's the only way to ever appreciate the movie that we're going to see from that is Dune. And to see that at home, no matter how spectacular your home theater is going to be, I don't think it's going to hit the same mark. You have to see that movie in theaters, in my opinion. I'm done now. Thanks for attending my TED Talk.
No, I mean, there's a lot that I agree with there, Michelle. Like, I really do, because it's like, I'm going to watch Wonder Woman probably on Christmas Day. Like, that's one movie that I really am really excited to watch. And like you, I was ready to watch the sequel after the first one. Like, I was like, this was amazing. Like, I hope it's just as visually exciting as the first one. So I'll probably watch it on Christmas Day. And when I feel a little bit more comfortable, or I feel comfortable, I will go watch it in the theater. Like, I am fully expecting to enjoy this movie enough that I will be able to watch it that close in proximity, is back to back. Dune is another one that I'm familiar with, but not entirely familiar with. But the story and the special effects and everything that come with that, like, yeah, that looks visually exciting. I will watch that at home, and I will probably go watch it in the theater as well, just to have that experience of seeing it on the big screen. That's just something that I plan on doing for sure, 100%.
For me, I think there's a lot of these movies I'll probably watch in the theater. I don't know in terms of, like, will I watch it there first and then see it at home? I think maybe that would probably be the case. Obviously, for anyone that doesn't know, in California, they've shut down the theaters again. But when they were open, or reopened, I should say, I think I saw probably, I don't know, I want to say 3 or 4 movies in the theaters when they got reopened. And that at that time when they were reopened, I think maybe within the first time when I saw Tenet, at most there was probably maybe 10, 12 people in the theater. And anything since then has been anywhere from 2 to 8, maybe, other people in the theater. So I feel like, I think I'll be able to get into a theater and still see these movies and feel safe about seeing them, because there's just not a lot of people going, whether they don't even know that the theaters are open or if they just aren't willing to go yet. It's just not a lot of people going to them. And for everything else that's happening, and I mean, maybe someone could tell me, you guys or anyone else listening, I don't think even in the time that theaters were reopened here, and where theaters have been opened in the United States, there's been one case traced back to a theater in terms of COVID or something. I don't know that that's happening. So I feel pretty good about going to the theater and being able to see a movie there, and making sure that if I want to see something in that best format possible, that I'll do that. But everyone has to do for themselves that they feel comfortable at.
Oh, for sure.
I respect everybody's decision on what they want to do there.
But I will say, like, I think they're missing, I don't know. I almost don't even know how to be in my thought process, but mostly, like, I think Disney was smart in that they charged you for Mulan for quite some time. And just now you can watch it streaming without, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's available.
So I think they were smart on that sense because it'll give you a bit of a gauge of who really wants to see the movies. And so I don't understand why they aren't putting an additional price tag to at least a tiny handful of these films, minimally Wonder Woman 84 and Dune, and maybe Matrix. I don't even know. I don't know, but
Well,
I think they're. I don't know.
I think the quick. I mean, and you could dig a lot deeper into this, but I think the quick answer to that is that HBO Max is not Disney Plus. HBO Max is trying to, I think, really lure more of a subscriber base. Disney Plus does not have that issue. Disney Plus quickly acquired a huge subscriber base, and I mean, sure, they want more. They'll always take more, but I don't think they're in the position that Warner Brothers is with HBO Max, where they are really trying to pull people in. So I think that's why, like with Wonder Woman, they're not even bothering they're looking at it as a, hey, look, we've got a huge movie like Wonder Woman right here on our service. Please come subscribe. They just want you to do that. I don't even think they're worried yet about, hey, let's charge you extra for it.
I know. I think it's just hard because I think down the pipeline when it comes to gauging the popularity of these films, I mean, I guess they could see how many times the film has been streamed and figure out, what that is. And there's obviously still going to be critics and people like us that get on and we're going to review the films and give it our thumbs up or thumbs down. But I think down the road, it's still going to be hard to look back on those films and gauge, like, was that quote unquote a successful film or was that not a successful film? It's one thing when you can look at money, and which is what most of them have been doing the past few years, and most of the time I haven't agreed with it, because just because Aquaman made a absolute ass ton of money does not mean I think there needs to be an Aquaman 2. But the other side of that is that right, I'm just saying, example, the other side of that coin,
I'm just laughing at what you said.
Yeah, the other side of the coin is that Wonder Woman 84 is not going to make an ass ton of money, and I don't want them down the road to go, well, it didn't make a lot of money. Yeah, it was COVID, but it didn't make a lot of money, and do we need to do another one? I don't want that to be the question that's left up to the corporations.
I don't think that's going to be.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just
saying. I'm not defending this.
I hope that's not the case. Yeah, I hope that's not the case, because like it's just a shame. It's the same thing where, like, I mean, I said this when we were talking about Bill and Ted. Like, did we need a third movie? No, we really didn't. But like, I don't know about you. I think Bobby echoed this and this sentiment as well. I was really looking forward to seeing what that movie would have pulled in if it did go to a normal theater.
Out of morbid curiosity, right?
To see that. Like, just out of curiosity, just to see, because they made this movie because fans and people were asking for it. Like, they were like, dude, make another one of these. And then like Keanu got on board, and then Alex Winters got on board, and you're just like, man, like, I would have loved to see what the total box office revenue would be in a normal situation. Just like I would love to see what it would be for Wonder Woman. I really would.
What were you saying, David?
No, I'm trying to remember.
Money being the
I think you were
judgment
talking about
of
the
further
studios.
movies.
You don't blame them, or
I mean, I guess just stepping back, my reaction to this whole thing is more, and we talked about this again with our text group, but is the fact that they committed to the whole year is still kind of blowing my mind. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
I mean, it's not in a respect of, again, I mean, they're pushing. We're all going into a world of streaming, and I mean, not to say I think theaters are doomed and they're going to die. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I think theaters as we knew it are not necessarily ever going to come back the way they were.
Yeah, I think
and
they were
this situation kind of was like, this announcement, I feel like, was the first real, like, my God, this is really happening.
Right.
Like, for me anyway, like for them to commit to a whole year. And I know in their statement, they're claiming we are really, I don't have it right in front of me, but they said something along the lines of, this is a 1 year case. This is not something we're looking at as like a future. We do see cinemas having like a place, and they basically however they said it, they made it sound like this is really just for 2021 and 2022. We fully plan to kind of go back to the way it was. And I have a hard time believing necessarily that's the case. Like when you make a move like this, but
I mean, it depends on how many more studios are going to follow suit. And no, I don't think that theaters are going to fall to the wayside, but I think the day of the megaplex and the uberplexes and how many are within certain radiuses of each other, I think we're going to see that come to a distinct close the way like malls have in a weird way. I think we're going to see, like, for example, there's a section of our town here in Orlando, and when they finally got one movie theater, it was huge news. But then they got another one, but it was literally, and I absolutely kid you not, like 3.4 miles down the road. So it's basically a matter of which one do you want to give your money to in a way. And they both had, I think one had like two more screens than the other one did. So it wasn't like one was like double the size or anything. They both had, I think like 18 or 20 screens in them. But it's one of those things that it's, I think at this point in time, their theaters are going to go to a point where they're going to go, well, we're not doing that anymore. And, in certain radiuses of cities, like you're going to be like, there's one, and then there's going to be a certain radius, and there'll be another megaplex, but they're not going to be so close to each other. They're not going to be on top of one another anymore. And if anything, I think in a weird way, if this is what's going to happen and go down the road, small theaters might have a comeback in a really weird way. Like old school small theaters having small showings of things, kind of like our art house theater here that David and I go to randomly. I think they could have a small comeback in a weird way. I don't know. I think we're going into a weird future with theaters is what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I guess when you bring up the small theater thing, though, for me, I feel like small theaters will have the same place that they currently have. I think we could see a world, though, where theaters that do have an experience you really aren't going to replicate at home will have their one place, like the Dolby Cinemas of the world, which for me, I'm not saying I have a great home theater setup, but I mean, I feel like I have a TV now where I'm like, there's certain movies, as long as it's streamed in 4K, and that's another debate. Hey, I could see watching this at home.
Right.
I agree with you. Do I want to see Wonder Woman 1984 in a theater? Yes, absolutely I do. With that said, it's dropping on Christmas, and it is COVID, and it's we talked about this, I think, the last episode. This is really the first really big release during COVID. Tenet was big, but I think Wonder Woman 1984 is bigger. So it'll be interesting to see the few theaters in this country that are open, those of us who are lucky enough to go to a movie theater without driving 5 hours. How busy will theaters be? And if they're busy enough, especially, again, considering it's dropping on Christmas, so this is the kind of movie I'm not going to want to wait, I could very easily see, hey, it's Christmas Day. You know what? I'm just going to watch this at home, at least first. Maybe I'll watch it a second time in a movie theater. Now, with that said, like, if I can't watch it in 4K at home, I probably won't. And that's, again, another debate. But, there's certain movies that I will, like Dune, I agree with you. Yeah, I will, unless there are no theaters left to choose from, I will absolutely see Dune in a movie theater in the largest screen I possibly can. But, there's other movies on this list, like, that they're going to put out that, yeah, I would have certainly seen in a movie theater, but now I'll probably just watch at home. I don't know where I was going with that, but
yeah, I don't know.
You look like you were looking something up.
I am. Yeah, no, I was looking for the cinematographer for Dune.
Oh.
Greg Fraser.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm sorry, but Denis Villeneuve did not do this film, obviously, with a pandemic in anywhere near his sights. And this is a film that I think you're only going to ever fully understand and appreciate this film by seeing it in a theater. I think even in 4K, even in a spectacular house, it's just not going to come through. Yeah, the cinematography alone in that film is just going to be. Oh, I'm drooling thinking about it. Like, honestly, like it just, my head is just like, oh, I cannot wait to see this movie.
What was that, Bobby?
So I was just gonna say, so I get that from a movie enthusiast perspective, but if you think about Blade Runner 2049 and how well and good that movie looked, and I think that that movie underperformed in terms of where they wanted it to go, and I think Dune has the potential to be somewhere similar to that as well.
I
And
fully
under
agree.
these
The audience that's
circumstances,
interested in that
even
story is
more
small.
so.
Yeah.
Right. And so the thing that I kind of keep coming back to and have to sometimes honestly remind myself of is that we're in a movie bubble. And of course, we love to go to the movies to see the biggest releases, but there's a decent amount of the population that just wants to see the movie. They don't care to see it in the biggest screen possible, or they may not even have a 4K TV. They just may have a 1080p TV, but they just want to see it because they saw the trailer and thought it looked cool. And so I think there's enough of those people out there that will really help determine what happens here because COVID aside, some people just have not been happy with the movie going experience in general. There's so many distractions, people on their phones, people talking, just the rudeness, the general lack of decency when you go see a movie that happens. So there's a lot of elements I think that are at play here that for some people being able to see it at home is the thing that they probably wanted for the longest time. So it's going to be a very interesting test to see exactly how this will work. And I think that the way that Warner Brothers is looking at it is that, I think they kind of look at it the way Netflix sort of does their movies in that their movies don't get released in the theaters, but yet they're making these $100 million, $200 million movies, releasing them on their streaming service. And their analytics are what they are. They don't tell us, but if it's good, then we hear that they're going to do a sequel. And I think that would be the case here as well, is that maybe Warner Brothers doesn't tell us in a box office weekly kind of report way, but all of a sudden you hear they're going to do a Wonder Woman 3. So then I guess it did pretty well on their service, or they'll tout however well it did when it comes out, if it did, extremely well for them. And that will be a determinant for a lot of these movies if this is the new world that we live in, and if indeed that it's not just a 1 year thing and this is the way it's going to be going forward. So I think we're still in a transitional period, and so we don't know what we don't know, and until we at least start to see what Wonder Woman does when it comes out in this hybrid model under these circumstances of COVID, we'll start to get the little bit of the picture coming together a little bit more. But we still have a little ways to go before we can really make a determination, and themselves as well, and to see if this is a viable model for them.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that.
No, man, I don't disagree at all. It's just we're just in an interesting world, and it's like you said, we just don't know what we just don't know.
I will say that you want anybody listening in, as well as you guys who are doing the show with me, be on the lookout for Thursday, because Disney has their shareholders meeting, and they've already said that they will be announcing things. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did some sort of like where they did the D23 and they brought people out and showed clips of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do that. They haven't said that they will do that, but they definitely did say they will be announcing things. And so we might hear, for all intents and purposes, that Black Widow will be going to Disney Plus in January or February or something.
Right.
Who knows? But they will definitely be announcing streaming stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they're going to be doing. What's going on with Soul? I can't remember. That's going to go streaming,
That's
isn't it?
December 25th, straight to.
So it's Christmas
Disney
Day.
Plus.
Soul will be on Disney Plus.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody listening? Soul's Disney Pixar's latest movie.
Yes. That one.
That one. I don't really have much else really.
Anyway, I was just I think that was a lot of our reaction when it first dropped.
It's a game changer.
It's unbelievably huge news. Like
It is.
and again, I was shocked that a full year.
No.
And to me, that just says that this isn't just we all, this is what the only choice we have because of COVID. I'm like, a full year. I'm like, again, this is going to be a long road back to a normal life. But to commit to a full year, that says to me more than just, hey,
no, I agree.
we're playing it safe. Like, anyway.
I concur.
Well, with that, anybody have anything else before we wrap things up?
No.
I take that as a no. All right. Well, we are going to get out of here. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone listening. You can email us at feedback@flickereffect.com. You can reach out to us on Instagram and Twitter at @flicker_effect. And these are also on YouTube. This episode is an audio-only version on YouTube, but we will be back with video again soon. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe and to hit that bell icon to be notified when we post any videos or go live again in the future. With that, I'm David Lott.
I'm Bobby Jackson.
I'm Yasha Wilson.
And I'm Michelle Hillard.
Thanks for listening.